to insert himself into U.S.-Ukrainian relations. Rudy, he did all of this, one U.S. official said. This show that we're in, it's him injecting himself into the process. Insiders saying, you muck this up. Your response?
Man, I really did. And you know who I did it at the request of? The State Department. I never talked to a Ukrainian official until the State Department called me and asked me to do it. And then I reported every conversation back to them. And Laura, I'm a pretty good lawyer, just a country lawyer. But it's all here, right here. The first call from the State Department. The debriefing of the State Department.
So why are they out to get you? This story is filled with unnamed sources.
I will compliment myself because I do a pretty good job for him, and they try to destroy everybody around him. But they're not going to intimidate me. In fact, I'm going to work hard because I don't get intimidated by bullies. I have a chapter in my book about standing up to bullies. But I never realized the depth of the corruption. I always thought Joe Biden was intellectually challenged, but a nice guy. I never knew the depth of this corruption. It's massive, it's shocking, and if I played a role in getting that out, I did a service to my country, and I'm proud of it. And everything I did is defensible, and everything I did is legal, and most of what they're doing is to cover up for a crime. And I'm happy to have them challenge me, because every time they challenge me, they go down, and we win. Because they are acting improperly, they are acting with an abuse of power, and the President of the United States conversation with that president, if you consider what a crook Joe Biden and his son were, was demanded, it was necessary. You cannot let the Vice President of the United States allow his son to enrich himself to the tune of millions and millions of dollars.
Rudy, I couldn't agree with you more. But why are you the one to do this? Why isn't this the role of the Justice Department or the FBI? Why task you, the personal attorney, the president, to do that? I think that's a question that just layman was like, okay, I get it. That should be investigated, but why is Rudy running the show on that? Why isn't it FBI and Main Justice?
That's a very good question. Because the FBI's performance since its entire investigation, including up to this moment, is flawed. Why am I doing it, Laura? Can't you figure it out? I'm his defense lawyer. I'm defending him. He's my client. I don't know, only Donald Trump is not entitled to a defense in America.
But how are you defending him by investigating Biden? Dispel it out for us.
Because one of the things that the prosecutor that Biden had fired, and then the prosecutor that Biden helped to put in, one of the things they did was to dismiss a case against an organization that was collecting false information about Donald Trump, about Paul Manafort, and feeding it to the Democratic National Committee.
Okay, that explains it to
organization
people.
was
I don't think people understood that.
That was run by George Soros, who then hired the crooked FBI agent who is now working for George Soros. Laura, this stinks. This is Tammany Hall, New York politics to the tune of $1 billion. It stinks. I spent my life as a prosecutor investigating crooked Democrats, crooked Republicans. I don't care who's crooked, they should go to jail. These people abuse power. And you know why? Because that crooked press corps enables them. Because they don't cover them the way they cover Republicans. There are two systems of justice in this country. They go after Republicans if we say something wrong. They allow Democrats to steal millions, and they don't care. The Clintons enriched themselves on public office to the tune of hundreds of millions. The Bidens got $1.5 billion from China, which had to be a deliberate act on the part of China to buy the vice presidency. It cost a lot of money to buy it. They didn't invest in the hedge fund because it made money. It made no money. The Chinese are not stupid. They don't spend their money for no reason. There's only one reason the Chinese spent that money: to buy Joe Biden's office. That office doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the people of the United States. And if a president can't vindicate that, then it's a sad day for America. I am proud of my president because he is trying to clean up a swamp that is much worse than the American people realize.
Well, I think no one,
disgusting.
Schumer warned about the, deep state. They'll always find a way to get you, and there seems like there are...
Not if you have courage.
Yeah, there are people inside... Rudy,
you.
hold on. There are people inside this administration. I've said this from January 5th of 2017. They are leaking. There were people at the very beginning leaking. It rolled all the way through the deep state, and a lot of their people are now put in other networks as commentators. It's absolutely reprehensible. I've never seen anything like it. But Rudy, there's a thing in this story. You've cleared up a lot. I think a lot of people don't follow every iteration because it's complicated to people who don't follow this.
It's complicated.
But it's important. It's important for people to get it.
Thank God you cover it in a complicated way.
But it's important that people understand this, because when they hear stuff, then they can say, oh, I heard that spin and it's wrong. So what is the deal about this Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S.? Because part of this story, again, broke tonight, is that you were putting big pressure on her as part of this scenario. Yeah, the U.S. ambassador, U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine,
Look, I was sitting in my office in November of 2018, and a very prominent investigator that both the gentlemen you just have on know came to me and told me there's a story about the Ukraine and what the Democrats did there that'll shock you. And I didn't believe it at first. Biden wasn't involved. It was all about collusion, which, by the way, is massive, right? I mean, and people were paying for it, like George Soros. And the American ambassador was deeply involved in it. And the FBI agent who was investigating it was deeply involved in it. She is now working for George Soros. The FBI agent is working for George Soros, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. She was involved in it back then. In January of 2016, the Obama White House told Ukrainian officials, go dig up dirt on Trump and Manafort. Nancy Pelosi doesn't care about that.
Who in the Obama administration? Was it the Obama White House? That was what was told to you?
No, that's been reported in The Hill by John Solomon.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the documents. And then Joe Biden removes this prosecutor. He says he didn't know his son was under investigation. That's absurd. That he never talked to his son about his son's foreign business. Do you believe that? Don't you think I can prove that he did? You think I'm stupid? You think I've given you all my evidence?
Rudy, I have a question.
They have walked into a trap.
So this is a gift to you, then. This whole thing is a big gift to the American people for transparency.
You're darn right it's a gift.
And so people can sunlight.
Maybe, just maybe, we will finally investigate a Democrat like we investigate a Republican. Maybe, just maybe, we won't do the big Hillary Clinton fix like the FBI did to let her out of crimes that were so horrendous and so obvious that anybody would be prosecuted. If Biden gets away with the $1.5 billion, then we don't have justice in America. We just don't. And we've lost the FBI, and who knows what else.
No, well, we can't lose the FBI. We got Bill Barr over at Justice. No way you're losing the FBI under
their inability to investigate this is astounding. You know how it first came to me? It first came to me from this very prominent investigator telling me for 1 year they were trying to get this information to the FBI. So you ask me, why did I do it? Because the FBI didn't do their job. Maybe they're afraid that they'll expose a crooked agent. I will show you the statements from 5 Ukrainians that say, we desperately tried to get the information to the FBI, and we were blocked by the ambassador who eventually got fired.
We're just hearing, Rudy, by the way, hold on. We're just hearing that Trump is going to be meeting with the Ukrainian president 2:15 tomorrow.
Would you please emphasize the fact that the Ukrainian president has said, I wasn't pressured?
Yeah, well, this again is where the Democrats have taken us. Ukraine says it wasn't pressured. The transcripts are coming out.
He's the only one that counts, by the way.
Yeah,
the only president that counts in an extortion, alleged extortion, is the victim.
We're out of time.
He said I wasn't pressured. It doesn't matter if Schiff was in.
All right, Rudy, we're out of time. Sorry to cut you off. You got to get your voice back. We have a lot more to get to. Every angle covered when we come back.